Hey guys, Crafted1 here, and Switch Sports has been out for about 2 weeks. So I thought I'd go ahead and return 2 guests that we had on before to do another little discussion post Switch Sports. So if you guys want to introduce yourself, we have the one, the only Wipeout Jack.
Hello, I'm Wipeout Jack. I'm a speedrunner, modder, data miner, and most recently, a certified legend in Nintendo Switch Sports.
And then we have Master Trainer Peter.
How are we doing? I'm a motion control gaming personal trainer YouTuber. I think that's a great way of putting it.
Yeah.
lots of things under the hat. Yeah, I do lots of reviews of motion control games. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we previously did a discussion talking about Switch Sports before the game came out, and that did super well. Everyone wanted a second one. So if you guys haven't already, go ahead and check that out. We still have some interesting stuff in there. But yeah, I figured we could bring you guys back and talk about Switch Sports 2 weeks after launch. So
Nothing more than I'd love to do that.
Yeah. What did you guys think of it, or so far?
You want to go first, Peter?
Yeah, sure. Look, I've really enjoyed what it's got. I think is the best way of phrasing that. The games in there feel good. Mostly, I'm not mad keen on tennis myself, but look, that's another thing. I think each of the sports is fun. What they've got online, especially, there's lots to do if you're into competitive play. But it does, to me, I think there's a little bit missing.
Yeah, I do know you had like a full review on that. Very interesting watch. You guys go ahead and check that out. I kind of had the same sentiment you guys are. There is some things missing. It's a solid foundation, but there's definitely stuff that could be built on.
That's my exact thoughts too, yeah.
Such a good way of putting it. Yeah.
What's here is great. I've really enjoyed the 6 sports, but there's not that much playtime you can get out of just those 6, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, coming from someone who got to Legend, I've yet to get the Legend yet. Do you feel like the game's kind of done now, Wipeout?
Well, so I still have like the weekly, rewards to come and get, but I have no real incentive to keep playing other than those. There is the whole A progression system, which we can talk about later, but there's not too much after you get Legend.
Yeah. So, how many hours do you guys know off the top of your head you guys have clocked in at the moment?
I can actually check real quick. I have my Switch with me. Let me pull that
I
up.
don't, so I can't.
I
It's gonna be
believe
embarrassing.
I had, okay, so the 2 days the game came out, I had 36 hours on it, and I got to A rank in 3 sports, and then I slowly kind of died down. But man, yeah, it's hard to say I'd ever stop playing. As a content creator, it's more of I could keep playing this just to play with viewers, but I'm trying to think of this as like a single player experience, like online, not just single player. I don't think I would play it again after I get to Legend in every sport, unless I want all the cosmetics.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. So, and also,
Thanks
I've just checked. Oh, sorry for cutting you off, Peter, but
No,
I've
you're
just
good.
I've just checked. It's an embarrassing number. It's actually, I want you guys to guess. How long do you think?
I'm gonna say around
Ooh.
60 hours.
Yeah, I was thinking I'm gonna go 70. I'm gonna go
Total
70.
total number in like a week or 2 of it being out, 85 hours. Which,
Jeez.
Whoa.
I have no life.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
nice. So good.
It's been fun though.
man.
I've actually enjoyed it a lot. So
Yeah. I've done.
Definitely got a lot.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say it's definitely like it's definitely really enjoyable as a game though. Like playing online, doing the competitive stuff. It's definitely it's really fun. What's there is well made.
Yeah.
What's there is well
Totally,
made.
yeah.
I think
100%.
I completely I can completely see why. Like I've not ranked up much in the pro league so far, and I've been playing around with it specifically so that I can set up some series eventually when I get my second monitor. So I've not really progressed much on my main profile, but it's what like the pro leagues is definitely a fun, definitely fun gameplay, and I do like the kind of the continued incentive. I think it's a decent idea. It's just
Okay, that's what kept me going. There's no way I would have played for 85 hours if there was no like get to A.
If there wasn't no
The,
end goal.
Yeah, the ranked thing actually helped way more than I thought it would. So I'm happy that exists.
Yeah. So going into each sport, which one is your favorite so far? Now we have more time in each of them.
Oh god, a singular favorite might be hard to choose. And this is gonna make Peter mad, I guess, but I really enjoy tennis. Tennis is I don't know. It's been my personal favorite, I guess. But also, actually, no, yeah. Peter, you go ahead. What's your favorite?
My favorite is badminton,
Oh,
which I was not expecting.
that's
I was
my
not
least
expecting to
favorite
love
one.
badminton. Oh my god!
It's still fun
Oh,
though. I
amazing.
still like it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I still like tennis. I still like
Yeah.
tennis. It's just not my. You know what I mean? Like
Well, it's not your
it's well
thing.
made.
Exactly.
It's just not.
Mhm.
So
Like,
what about you, Crafty?
I like all the sports. It's just like it's
Same.
like
Yeah.
ranking number ones. Like which one is a higher
Exactly.
one than the other one?
Yep.
But I have to go for volleyball. It was the first one I got A rank in, and it has like
Yeah.
subtle complexities that make the game 10 times better. But there is
Volleyball is
ways.
probably. Sorry, you go ahead.
Oh yeah, there is ways they can make it more better, but we'll get to that later.
Need a Top Gun scene.
Yeah.
Like Aim of the Boys.
Oh,
Your
you
guide, by
mentioned
the
that.
way, Crafty, was awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Your guide. So if anyone watching, please go check that out. It's so good, so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, and then so what about the least favorite? I know we've said that all these are really good, but which one do you think is the worst of the best?
I might have said a second ago that badminton's my least favorite, but actually that isn't true. It's maybe my second least favorite.
Mm-hmm.
For me personally, it's Chambara. Mainly just because I don't think the motion controls are all there in Chambara, and also when you're playing online, especially because it's a skill-based game,
Mm-hmm.
the lag and it doesn't work perfectly
Yeah.
in my experience.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Like, yeah, personal preference for me, I prefer Chambara over tennis, but as far as how it's made and how it plays, yeah, I think Chambara is the lowest of them. Like, that's the one with the most motion control issues out of any of the games.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I'd argue.
I don't know if this is because I have really good internet because I got like 1 gig speeds, and I think Chambara is a very internet heavy sport because you have to transfer the data on what your angles on each bar, and that's why the game kind of falls short. But I like Chambara a lot actually, and I have to say the one I hate or not hate like the least would have to be soccer.
Why? No way. Soccer's so much fun. That's crazy.
It's fun, but it's like go ahead.
I was
Oh,
waiting for you. You can go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's fun, but it's I don't know, too reliant on team. This is just the ranked mentality
get
where
that.
I
I
want to
get that.
climb ranked, but it's hard to do that with a team-based sport, and then all your teammates are just like,
It's
let's
totally
not
fair.
pass the ball.
Oh god, yeah.
Oh my lord, yeah.
Everyone's just
And
chasing
have
after
you
the
ever?
ball.
Do you get the matches where you get people continually scoring own goals?
Oh
Has that-
yeah, and people do
Are
it
people
like,
just griefing?
Mhm.
Really? Wow.
Mhm.
Ew,
Yeah.
what?
And like I can't show the footage of it either because like it's one of those ones where we've seen, you must have seen on the subreddits and the Discord and stuff, like people have been put, like they've got, we'll call them naughty names.
Oh, yeah.
Naughty names. Yeah, and I'm just like, oh, I can't show that. Like, I'm definitely not showing that.
It's something.
Well,
Yeah,
actually,
it's really frustrating. Hey.
I've heard about that. Is it the name or the tag?
So
or
it's
both?
the combination of the title plus the name.
That's what I thought. But I've heard people say like just the name itself, the censors are really bad. So you can just put in some kind of bad words and just that by itself. But
Mhm.
I haven't seen that personally.
I've literally got footage of people calling themselves the N-word, which
Yeah.
is not good, and I'm not happy
Really,
about that.
Nintendo?
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like I
It's
like respectfully, like there's no way that there's no way that should be getting through any of the filters.
Mhm.
I don't
Yeah.
get how they've not filtered it properly.
It's really easy to take care of that issue. It's
Yeah.
embarrassing that
Yeah,
Nintendo has.
Splatoon 2's got a pretty full-on filter as far as I'm aware. So like,
There's some stuff that slips through the cracks, but it's nothing
really,
on the
but-
line of what Switch Sports has.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we know? Is there a report feature?
Not that.
No.
There might be a thing in the Nintendo Switch like firmware where like if you go to users you played with there might be a
Oh,
report, but nothing in Switch Sports that I know of.
yeah.
So
It might be difficult to tell exactly who that is though, because you
but
can
good
name
point.
yourself anything.
Yeah.
So
Oh, but
mm,
I believe if you go to like the users you've played with, it'll say in-game name.
Yeah, you can add
Yeah,
them.
sure,
which
and-
sure.
that is a good feature.
Yes.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
no, there isn't any kind of report feature in game,
Hmm.
as far as I know at least.
Yeah. So now that we've gone our favorite and least favorite sport, what did you guys think of the Pro League and the progression style system? We kind of already touched on it. Think it's a
Yeah, I
good
mean,
system?
yeah, I guess we can get into the whole. So Craft, you said you're A in volleyball. Peter, I guess you're not A in anything yet, right?
Not
You haven't
yet.
really touched
No,
it much.
that is intentional, but yes.
Okay, yeah.
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 Oh,
Uh,
sure.
so what do you
Yeah,
think
sure.
about the like the A numbering system, like A20, A21? If you know much about that.
Yeah. So I'm A rank in Chambara volleyball, and I'm almost
Oh,
in tennis.
okay,
Or no,
okay, I see. Yeah,
yeah.
that's good progress.
And it's something. I don't know. I feel like they should have did
Something,
a
yeah.
numbering system where it's like
Like
if you're
worldwide rank.
yeah, worldwide rank. And I honestly
I think
wish
everyone agrees.
there was a
Mm,
leaderboard. Like I
Yeah,
think that would be
exactly.
so cool.
yeah.
The way it is right now, also it arbitrarily stops at 39 for some I
Oh,
don't
it
know.
stops?
It's
I haven't gotten that far
yeah,
yet.
it's just it's just a number that can kind of go up for some it's weird. I don't know why they
Hmm.
chose this over
Mm,
even Super Rush had like a global worldwide count. I don't know why
yeah.
they could have just done that for this game.
Yeah.
Weird
I'm
choice.
I'm reviewing a game called Let's Get Fit at the moment, and that's got a worldwide leaderboard. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
That
they'd be
proves it's not hard
so
to
easy
make.
to.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Respectfully.
And
Yes.
they
Sure, I don't want to disrespect it. I'm sure it's a great game.
they did it with Splatoon too. There's a leaderboard for Splatoon. It was every Splatfest, so it's like seasonal kind of locked. But there
enough, yeah.
still was a leaderboard, and I don't mind if it
Yeah.
resets like every month or something.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah, it
know.
added just another level of competitive. And do you know what I mean? Like you were saying that you may not have much incentive to play once you've hit legend.
Yeah.
It just gives you extra incentive. Like
Mhm.
it's
Like
yeah, it feels
technically
like a
right
given for
now,
this.
I'm like, A20 Chambara, A30 in soccer. I could spend the next 200 hours of my life getting to A39 and everything,
Mhm.
but the jump from E to A is much bigger than it is from A20 to A30. Like,
Yeah.
at that point, it's like, it's not really worth it.
Hmm. I do like that you can't lose A after you get it, because I mean
Yes,
it
agreed.
honestly it takes a while to get all the way up to A. It took me 12 hours for volleyball. It took me 10 hours for Chambara.
You can lose the number though, right? Like, you can go from
Yeah,
A20 to A.
you
Yeah.
could lose rank down.
But I am glad that doesn't go from A back to B plus or whatever. That would be
Yeah,
a lot more
that
stressful.
would be something. Yeah, I do like you could also pause pro rank if you don't want to be put with higher level players, because there is different tactics for especially with Chambara. Like from E, it was so easy to rank up, and then once you get to B plus, it got a lot harder.
Grinding Chambara it was so bad.
Yeah.
I am curious. Once you got to A, have you played games since you got to A in those sports?
I played games, but not on like online. Like after I got to A, I was just like, okay, I'm just playing with viewers. No, I'm not
That's fair
actually
enough.
gonna climb anymore.
Because I've been enjoying the game casually ever since, but I've turned off Pro League and literally everything because I don't care about ranking up my A level to 39. So it just causes stress. I'm good. I don't need it.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
So
and it's good to practice. Hey.
That's true. Yeah.
yeah. So there is a big difference between online and offline content. If you wanted to talk about that, I know it's a little crazy.
It is day and night. Like
Yeah.
I totally think if you have online and enjoy motion controlled sports games, it's a great game to buy. But if you don't have online, just I'm sorry, avoid the game. It's there. You're not going to get content out of it. You're not going to get your
Yeah.
$50 worth.
There's so much there's so much. This is parroting my review, but like there's just so much that they could have put in, and I think that's like with the sports, like with the 6 sports, it feels like it's not enough. But I think that's because there's pretty much nothing to do offline.
Yeah.
So if for each of those, and there's like you could do a heap of different games, like especially Chambara, you've got like the speed slice in Wii Sports Resort. You've got the like the adventure mode or whatever it was. I can't remember the exact name. You could do target practice with soccer. You could do like smash the targets in soccer and stuff like that. There's a bunch of like it's not hard to think of ideas that would have filled the game out and made it a more a more fun experience for people who maybe don't want to play. Like I've got a few people in my community who bought the game, but they don't want to play online competitive, and they're like, "Oh, this is a bit boring." It's like,
it's kind of embarrassing that I think almost objectively, with no online content considered, Switch Sports has the least content of any Wii Sports game.
Yeah,
which is it's something else.
Wii
Sports, it came out 16 years ago for free, and it still has more to do than Switch Sports does.
Yeah.
It honestly kind of makes me wish this was a freemium game, like Nintendo's first crack at like a Fortnite style free game that you could buy stuff in. Because it would make sense like that. Then you'd have to buy online, and then there's no excuse for not having so little online content or offline content.
I was kind of surprised they didn't do that. Yeah.
Especially with this whole like collection card system, because I could totally see them like, oh, for $1 you could buy this card, and as you play, you unlock.
Basically, just a battle pass. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting idea, like kind of the concept of it being a free game that you pay for additional content, or like you get more out of it online and use it as an incentive to get Nintendo Switch Online. Like I have my theory, which I'll go into a bit later, about them doing Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack DLC linked to that. I've got my theories on that, but it is just, especially thinking about the offline, just the lack of extra modes, and
content.
there's not even like a score attack.
Yeah, I know.
Well, except for the staff credits minigame, which I'm sure you'll get hours of fun out of.
Yeah.
Okay, to be honest, that minigame is actually pretty fun. I don't know. I
guess, but how many times have you played it personally? I'm curious.
On stream, I was doing like, did you see how high I could get? And the chat was freaking out. But yeah, see, that's the thing. I'm making the content creation mentality. No one's if I'm like, no one's watching me do it, I'm probably not gonna do it. But did remind me of training modes, because training modes were more of an arcadey kind of style in the original Wii Sports, and I would have loved to see those return, or some sort of just infinite mode.
Like, you got the soccer one, right?
We have the soccer one, but
it's like it's not exactly the same, is it? It's just
right.
But it's also just it's timed too. It's not even like you have X amount of not shots or misses.
Speaking of the soccer, like, how many times have you played that, if at all, the shootout mode? Once, right?
I haven't even.
I've done it 4 or 5 times because of the motion control, because it's like I was like, oh cool, leg strap, like they've sold this thing with it, let's give it a go. And it's honestly it's the most gimmicky thing, and you can not that we should be advertising this, but what you can do is you can hold the leg strap. If you don't have the leg strap,
of course,
you just hold it to your leg, or just hold it kind of vertical. Wait for it to register and ding, and then you can just use it like a tennis racket, and it will do the same thing. The motion is the actual range of motion needed is so minor. It's not great.
I think they called it intuitive kicking motions. I assume that meant like it'll actually read your accuracy, and it's just a timing game. I think the actual motion has nothing to do. It's like, as long as your controller has moved from point A to point B, it will detect as a kick, and then
that's right.
That's it.
I've done the testing.
I honestly wish they used the leg strap as just a better way to track your motion, because they add so much subtlety to the motion tracking in some other sports. Like for volleyball example, if you tilt your controllers like left or right, your whole character kind of body moves like you would normally when you're doing just kind of leaning left or right. And I find that so cool. And I wondered you know, if you had a leg strap on, and yeah, you would have to have a third Joy-Con, but it would make the game so much more immersive.
Yeah,
Mm.
I totally agree.
Yeah, and they could have honestly sold, like, they didn't even need the leg strap. They don't need a
No,
bundle.
no, that's
Yeah.
you're paying $10 for that one shootout mode that no one cares about. It's
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'm hoping we'll see.
They're adding the free update, right? There's,
Which
there's like a
actually
new
Mhm.
yeah, there's
With
a
it
new
makes
soccer.
me
motion
wonder
control like
if there is no like actual kicking, sensory going on or whatever. What is that update gonna be like?
Yeah.
It's kind of
it's a
confusing.
really
Because
is that mode going to be available on? I assume that mode isn't going to be available online either. So it is adding to offline content, but what's the?
Possibly, yeah.
I mean, what's the incentive to play it?
Mhm.
Like, yeah,
Yeah, I thought it was going to be available online, but the more I think about it, it's more like it
You
probably
have your own
isn't.
separate queue for
Yeah.
soccer, but with foot
yeah,
mode. That would be odd.
yeah.
Yeah. And even then, I
UA
don't even
rank
know
for
how
you.
they're going to do the controls. I guess you can control with one hand, and when you stand up, you kick, and it just doesn't feel intuitive. It feels like a game, while the other ones feel like a sport. If that makes sense.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I imagine it would be left hand or whatever, right hand, whatever, Joy-Con in one hand controlling your character,
Hmm.
and the other Joy-Con on your leg actually kicking and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Speaking of separate queue, I guess we could go into improvements. And one of the improvements, I think, is they need to have
Oh,
a
yeah.
friend queue. What the?
Why?
Is-
Yeah. Why is it missing?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
yeah, I don't get it
Yeah,
either.
it's a really blatant missing feature. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah,
You could have argued, oh, it takes more development time, but the thing is weird. That's weird is they have it almost fully implemented with a local player.
Yeah.
Like, if you have two players, you can do online together, stuff like that. But if you have a friend and you want to do volleyball pro league stuff, tough luck. Try to
Hmm.
random queue, I guess. I don't know.
yeah.
And that was the one issue I have with volleyball is, I mean, I'd like to say I was one of the first people to get A rank in volleyball. It was actually one of my viewers that got it like a couple hours before me. But I was put with, E rank players that didn't really know how to play the game. And I was either carrying them, or because volleyball, it's either your teammate misses the shot or you hit the shot. So if your teammate is missing every shot, then you just lose the point and you can't really do much to recover.
I had the same experience.
Yeah. So if they had some sort of online queue, that would just make volleyball by far feel like the best sport in my eyes. Because that's
Yeah.
the only thing holding it back was I can't really communicate with this person. If this person doesn't really understand the game, it's yeah.
Yeah, like I was hoping that the stamps would be a way of communicating.
Hmm.
There's a mobile game, Pokemon Masters, that uses a sort of similar stamp system. You can
Yeah.
use it to signal to people because obviously it's a mobile game and you can play with other players taking on bosses and stuff in certain modes.
Hmm.
So you can kind of signal to people like, hey, heal, or stat boost or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was really hoping for the stamps to be able to do something like that as a form of communication, but basically it's just saying, "Oh, well done," or "Oh no, I lost,"
Yeah.
or Apple. Excited for the Apple.
That apple haunts my nightmares. That's
I keep putting it in my thumbnails, like I'm hiding it in the background of things.
really I've been that's
It's great. But yeah, like the lack of communication for it's not just volleyball. Like, I mean, obviously you've got a lot more experience, Crafty and Wipeout Jack, for the for volleyball and stuff. But like, I find soccer to be really hard to play sometimes without kind of any communication. Like, I can try and space myself as much as possible, but then if three of them are crowding the ball, I'm like, right, cool. Well, I've got to go back into goal.
Yeah.
And then they're kicking the ball. Yeah, it gets tough. And what's the other one that could benefit from it?
Yeah.
Yes, tennis maybe.
Yeah. Tennis, if you're playing two
with
players. Yeah.
at that point you're playing locally, so
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, it's
it
mainly
might just be volleyball and soccer.
Oh,
the two main team-based sports.
yeah.
Dodgeball in the future for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I feel like just the online queue or party queue would be the one improvement I just say would make this game 10 times better. Do you guys know of any other improvements you would like to see?
So in a similar sense, not directly related to like the pro leagues or whatever, but this is a really, really frustrating one. So I have been playing with my friends a lot.
Hmm.
If we have 4 people, we can play volleyball, bowling, soccer, and that's great. 3 out of 6 isn't bad. But there's a glaring omission, and that's tennis. You can play 4-player local tennis. Okay, that's awesome. But an online, you can't. You can only have
Yeah,
2 players in
you can only have
tennis.
2.
Why? Am I missing
Yeah.
something? It makes no sense.
Hmm. Yeah, I noticed that as well because I had my viewers wanting to play with me. And I'm like, okay, well, 4 people join to play some tennis because I didn't want to play bowling the whole time. Yeah, and you can't. It's only 2 players, which is weird.
No sense.
Which is probably a reason why we didn't get online party queue because it might be something to do with 4 switches connecting and some sort of latency, like Chambara, and like the latency was so bad.
I mean, I guess soccer you might not need that much.
Mhm.
Like, because soccer has 8 switches, but I guess a bit of latency in soccer is fine. Whereas
Yeah.
tennis, volleyball, that it's more like you need to act really quickly, act really precisely. So
Mhm.
maybe there is a bit of something like that going on, but I think they still probably could have done it.
Yeah, because like in volleyball, the latency, if one person has a bad connection, it kind of gets apparent. Like your sports mates are literally hovering in the air and just waiting, and then you're like, oh.
There's this one clip. I don't know if you've seen. It is so funny. But the way Switch Sports handles lag is really interesting. A lot of games would just literally, freeze your game. This one,
Mhm.
like, it keeps the world kind of running, but like the ball will just freeze or
Yeah, I've
it'll
seen them.
teleport,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
And I think that might be a good way of handling it, but
I think so.
it does get a little apparent, and you're like, okay, something is wrong, and then it messes up your timing, especially on all these sports being timing based sports.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do agree that it's a very good way of handling it compared to other, because it doesn't really feel like lag, despite the fact that it definitely is. But
Hmm.
it also any lag is bad, of course. So it's gonna mess you up either way.
Yeah.
I've had a couple of volleyball matches where I'm like, I've spiked the ball and I'm like, oh yeah, that's in. And then the person's like slowly walked over.
Yeah.
The ball's just hovering there. And I'm like, oh yeah, cool. All right, I'll get ready to knock that one back. Yep. Yeah, it's like it's really amusing. It's really amusing. But yeah, I get what you mean about like, especially with like timing based ones like tennis and stuff could be super difficult.
Yeah. Speaking of improvements, what do you guys? We'll kind of bounce around to customization. Do you think the current customization is good? Is it well, or do you think it should be changed?
Mm, What do you mean by current? Like the items that are currently available, or
Well,
like the
like
system?
the system. I meant. Sorry.
Okay,
Yeah.
you're good. You're good. I think the system actually. A lot of people have been complaining. It's like, oh, it's drip feeding content.
Hmm.
I actually don't. I don't mind it. I think it's a reason to keep coming back. It causes excitement for like, ooh, the new collection's gonna drop,
Yeah.
whatever. I think that's actually a pretty decent way of handling it.
I like that not everyone has everyone gets the same collection bonus, but not everyone gets the same items.
Hmm.
Personally, I think that's kind of cool. And yeah, the drip feeding feels a little slow if you just get everything day one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like I'm pretty happy with like the constant
Mhm.
waves of unlockables and stuff. I think it's cool. I just wish that I could put a hat on my Mii.
Weird.
Like yeah,
And
Yeah.
that's it.
the alternative is Nintendo says, okay, here's every item in the game. There's no future excitement. Once you collect
Yeah.
everything, you're never
Mhm.
playing the game again.
Yeah.
This is a good, like I said, it's a
Exactly.
good way to keep people coming back. And one comment I had, I'm not the biggest fan of the whole like different loot pools thing. I get why they're doing it because they don't want everyone to wear the exact same items at the same time.
Hmm.
But I think my preferred way is instead of just getting randomly assigned one of 3 pools, it would say, okay, you can unlock one of these 3 items.
Yeah.
Choose which one. Okay, yeah, we're on the same
Yeah.
wavelength.
You get like
That would be
offered 3
nice.
different cards, and you're like, oh, you
Yeah,
choose the one that you want.
the next
That
2 will
would
be
be cool.
available later down the line. Yeah.
Speaking of, we're actually so with the most recent collection as the or at the time of recording this video is the relaxation one.
Squirrel. Yeah.
Yeah, and we actually just got confirmation that everyone is gonna at the end of the day get all the same gear. So they're gonna recycle stuff from different variations in future collections.
I believe one of the tourist tip loading things also said that,
Mhm.
as well as like a thing on the official Nintendo website. So
Yeah, and I think so. I originally hated the system, like, oh, I want to collect everything. But then again, I was playing 36 hours in 4 days, so of course I'm going to be wanting more content. But later, 2 weeks later, I'm now like, okay, I got a week. I finished the collection in like 3 days, and then I just wait, another 4 days, and I got another one.
Yeah.
It is at a good pace, and I do think the hate is a little unwarranted, especially with the 3 different paths, because there's only 3 variations. If you guys didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, I think it's okay.
Yeah.
I don't think it's bad necessarily. There's
Mhm.
probably preferred methods as opposed to this, but it's not the worst. It could have been a lot worse.
I definitely think they should have
Yeah.
had you choose your path, because I mean some collections are geared more toward the feminine side and some others are more masculine, and if you're playing as a certain character, then it's gonna kind of suck if you get the opposite.
Or if like, you're a super heavy Chambara sweat and these
Oh
other people
yeah.
have this really cool, they have the cute sword. Oh my god. And you're stuck with the classic volleyball that you don't care about.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's would have been nice to be able to choose your own path each
Mhm.
each week. Yeah, I think that's that would have been a really nice solution to it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Mm.
Especially the way they have them like set up now, because they look like cards that you just get stamped. So it's like, oh, just choose your card. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we did talk about credits. Did you guys know that there was 2 secret sports in the credits?
I have seen the theories.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've noticed those, yeah.
They
Have yeah.
I'm working on a video about it, but it looks like it's basically paragliding and rafting, and there's a lot of like subtle references in the credits to warrant them, and it's weird because they look very primitive, but they also look functional.
Yeah, I get what you mean. It would be kind of weird to like, because there actually were a lot of focuses on those like certain items. It would be kind of weird if if it wasn't actually any deeper than that. But also, I'm gonna try to stay like kind of skeptical on this one, not like dive headfirst into like, okay, paragliding confirmed,
Yeah.
swimming confirmed.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to say the least. I'll definitely agree with that.
As someone who's data mined the content, have you seen anything on paragliding and rafting, or this is literally it?
Nothing, to be honest, no. But also, I have seen literally nothing about any other sports yet. So Nintendo is definitely a lot more careful than they were in the playtest when they left those, 2 certain sports in. So
are those references still in the main game?
Yeah, they're still in
actually,
the credits. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the I think he means I
Like
think Peter
I
meant,
mean, yeah, for dodgeball and basketball.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I actually don't think so. However, I don't think that really means anything because
No.
yeah, they could stick. I think it's just as possible before and after. Nintendo might have just seen the news article, said, "Okay, we're gonna remove this from the current build,"
Yeah.
and
I think it's the as far as the stuff in the credits goes, like it's really cool. Like I really hope we get rafting because
same.
I think that would be so fun. Like a proper rowing motion would be really really interesting to put
Yeah.
into Switch Sports.
True,
And
true.
again, like I'm like, oh yeah, there's loads of ideas that you could do for this. Not is Nintendo going to put them in? Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see. But yeah, like I'm pretty sure that like some of it is like shots from like backgrounds and stuff, and I think it's near the Chambara arena. You can see the raft.
I think the
Yeah.
raft is in the
Yeah.
Chambara pool.
Yeah. So, but it does seem also equally weird to focus on it in the credits
Yeah, exactly.
and not do other stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm really excited if it comes. Like, and I'm definitely up for watching your video, man. Like, it's going to be interesting. But yeah,
I'll
I
definitely
don't
watch it. Yeah.
know. Right now, yeah.
So yeah, out of the 2, I honestly think paragliding is more of a possibility, because with the rafting, it is shown in the Chambara section, so it makes it seem like, oh, when your player falls in the water, we use these rafts to come and get them, and that could be world building. But with the paragliding, they had gameplay in the trailer, and it's the only moving part.
Wait,
Yeah.
did they?
Yeah, it was like a very quick clip of like
Ooh, interesting.
like a paraglider just going up and down, up and
Let's
down.
see if I can look at that. I actually did not know that.
But
I didn't know that. Yeah.
they cranked up the bloom so much where it's literally blinding. So it's a very so in the little clip there's a very primitive skybox where it's literally just the ground and the sky, and then the sky is so blinding and you could vaguely see like a paraglider going up and down, and it lasted like 3 seconds, but it's like this is the only thing that you showed like very high level movement for,
Yeah.
and then you blinded us too, so it's like that
Yeah.
yeah.
I
That
didn't know that.
That's cool. No idea about that. Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, that makes me a little bit more.
yeah,
lean a
I
little bit
am
more
still
towards, 'cause why do it?
being a
Not in
little
the backgrounds.
yeah. I'm being a little skeptic though. I don't want to be like, oh, we're getting paragliding and rafting. Just free roam kind of
I
hurt
see
me
the
on
video
that
you're
level.
talking about now. That's interesting.
Yeah.
You reckon free roam? Free roam?
I
Free
don't
Reckon
know,
it's, what do you reckon?
I don't know. I still like we haven't found any new information on it, and
Yeah.
they've actively taken out stuff too, haven't they?
Uh, I'm not sure if they've taken out anything as far as I know,
Mm,
but they certainly haven't added anything because, 1.1 dropped. There's absolutely nothing that would make me think free roam's actually going to happen, which is really sad. But
yeah.
realistically, I don't know.
A whole nother thing, like this is basically just speculation, but we have on the credits there's if you count the pixels there's 6 other slots for 6 other sport icons, and then we also have 6-ish sports confirmed, that being golf, paragliding, rafting, dodgeball, basketball, and then maybe baseball, which is 6, and then that could be a whole nother sub menu, another 6 sports, effectively doubling it. But yeah, this is all just speculation.
Yeah, no, I would totally welcome those 6 future sports with open arms. That sounds like a great
Yeah.
lineup, but very much speculation.
Yeah. And then like just going over to free roam, there's still a lot of content that we haven't seen that is still in the files. So it makes me like wonder, I still don't know what this is for. If it's just scrapped or not.
It's like Nintendo really went out of their way to make Spoko Square like a really in-depth, super like, and even in the marketing they went after Spoko Square. But besides like being the hub world that you just choose a sport on,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of just there. Like
Yeah.
it does nothing. Which
It really in the survey that got sent out to
Oh,
to a
survey's
lot of people in
interesting.
Europe.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's some really interesting. Like you managed to find the link, didn't you, Jack?
yes.
And there's a load of questions in there about Spoko Square. Like, did you like the environment and stuff, and like which has the best setting out of
Oh,
Wii
yeah.
Sports Resort and thingy, like is Spoko
I
Square
had to
good?
choose
Yeah.
resort these days.
Yeah, same. I really like Woohoo Island, but I also love Spoko Square. I think it's really nice, and like I think that I don't know, like again speculation, but there were a lot of pointed questions towards: do you think this is a good environment, and do you want to see more?
Definitely.
Essentially, is how I felt they were aiming at, and I was like,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
The survey is probably a good thing to mention while on the topic of like DLC sports, because a lot of the questions were like, it was like stuff like I don't know, just in general, like, did you feel like the content was good? I was like, which game had the most content? Like Peter said, which had the best open world? Not
Mhm.
open world, but had the best environment. I
Let's
don't
see
know.
if I
Just
can get up the.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
actually
Shoot.
didn't
I
really know
clicked
about
up.
the survey until you
Yeah.
guys mentioned it.
It was so weird because I just got this, like it was like 4 days after release that I got it. And I was like, what? It's
I saw it on
soon.
a Reddit post. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was basically just asking, have you played the past Wii Sports games? Did you think the marketing for Switch Sports was good?
Mm-hmm.
What parts about Switch Sports did you like? And it was like, I like playing it because it's a Wii Sports game. I think it's a fun thing to play with friends. And then what I thought was most interesting is they were asking stuff like like we said, which had the most content, which had the best world,
Mm-hmm.
which had the best variety of sports,
Mm.
stuff like that. And I feel like it would be kind of pointless to ask all that stuff if they weren't at least thinking somewhat in their brain somewhere. Maybe
Yeah.
we should add more
Literally asked
content.
what is missing.
They
Literally
did.
asked what is missing.
Oh, that's entirely true. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
trust me, I spent too much time writing my response.
Yeah, that was like I didn't write in the thing for the little video I did, but yeah, like it's a good 10 minutes of like constant
Exactly. I feel bad for
because there was
there's a lot.
constructive feedback, but yeah, like yeah, there's I think the survey, they definitely like were pointing towards, and this is where my whole thing with this Switch Online expansion pack comes from, because they directly were asking you if
And
you've got
yeah.
online, have you got the expansion pack? Questions pointing around that, knowing what they've done with with other DLC packs like the Mario Kart Booster Pack and Animal Crossing. It just
exactly
would not be surprised to see Switch Sports Resort.
So many of those questions, I don't know why they would ask if they weren't, like I said, at least planning to maybe do something in the future.
Yes. It reminds me of because Pokemon Unite, when it first came out, had a survey if you were a certain rank in Pokemon Unite. And when I played it, I got to that rank and I got the survey, and they asked a lot of stuff that were like, "Oh, are you planning to add this?" And later down the line, it's been out for almost a year now, and they've added almost all the stuff they've mentioned in the survey.
I like that. Sounds nice to me.
Yeah, so it gets my hopes up a little bit with all the stuff mentioned in the survey. Yeah. And
for some reason, Americans didn't get it though. So
yeah, I do find that
I
a
thought
little
that was weird.
But Nintendo likes working with smaller regions, I guess, because Australia got Pokemon Unite early, just so it's
got Pokemon Go early as well.
Yeah, they're getting good.
We're their beta tester. That in New Zealand, we're their beta testers. So, I think Australia often gets little.
It's just a good sample size, I believe, and yeah. But yeah. So I guess we could go over to Miis and Sportsmates.
Okay. Which actually does happen to be one of the questions on the survey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the? Oh, did it ask like which one are you playing?
Peter just sent a picture. It's
I shot the picture over. They literally were like, "Which do you like? Which are you playing as?"
Once again, like, why would they care if they didn't plan to bring back either Miis or Sportsmates? Like, Nintendo, come on, tell us.
I made the joke about Wii Music coming back as Nintendo Switch Music, and you have Music Mates. But it's really interesting that they want direct feedback on that, because I mean, there's been a lot of discussion about how the Mii, people wanted Miis more, and how the Sportsmates were ugly and stuff. But honestly, like, now that the game has released, I'm seeing a lot more people be like, "Oh, the Sportsmates are actually really cool."
Yeah,
which makes me think it might have been like a vocal minority for it or something.
I almost, it's kind of embarrassing to admit again, but I think on the last video I was like, "Oh, the Sportsmates look fine, but I'm definitely gonna use a Mii." If you've looked at my video, no, it's all Sportsmates. Like, it might just be because I think personally the way they handled Miis, it's not the greatest. Sometimes they look kind of ugly in this game, because the environment was definitely built around the Sportsmates as opposed to the Miis.
Yeah.
But in general, I do like the way the Sportsmates look. I like that you can add, the glasses and the face masks, all that you can't do with the Miis, which is kind of weird.
Yeah. They clearly set this game up for the Sportsmates to be the quote unquote better option.
No, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been playing as the Sportsmates as well. I tried using my Mii, but it's just something looks just off. I don't know if it's because they actually have arms or yeah.
They had arms in Smash Bros as well.
Yeah, and in some Wii Sports games they had arms too. So
yeah, but I've been. Which have you been seeing more of, Sportsmates or Miis?
I guess Sportsmates, but it's actually a pretty decent mix from my experience.
I predicted it was going to be a 75-25 split. Like, I've been seeing more Sportsmates, but I've actually been seeing more 50-50, and half of that 50-50 is Matt.
True, yeah. Or actually, I'm not going to mention that, but there are some infamous Miis people have been using.
Yeah.
I've seen Jay Leno online.
I've seen Obama.
I've seen Steve Harvey. There's some interesting ones.
I've seen a lot of Peter Griffin.
Of course.
Played some volleyball with Obama. It's just the usual.
I made Maya from Borderlands 2 and Froppy from My Hero Academia, and so I've been playing as them online as well. So yeah.
Oh, also, I guess it was kind of confirmed considering they never mentioned it, but I was still holding out hope that maybe they would have the Miitopia Mii editor thing.
Yeah.
But no, it's just not there.
I still find that weird they haven't.
They made a whole system.
Yeah.
Just abandon it. Everyone loved. I think
such a good system.
If they didn't have that was like the huge thing on Twitter. Like, oh, I just made a Windex bottle on my Mii. I don't know, random stuff. But that was like what got it so much promotion, and it did really well because of that.
Hmm.
Why not just
The
apply it to your next Wii Sports game?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
sound department from Switch Sports is the same sound department from Miitopia.
Oh
Really?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I like because I was researching to see. I think I mentioned it in the previous video. I was researching to see if it was the Ring Fit Adventure guys who were doing this, and I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
Huh.
I'm pretty sure it's a. I'm pretty sure it's the team behind Miitopia.
That makes sense.
Or at least I know the sound design is, and I've seen a couple of other names
Hmm.
match up from Miitopia as well. So it's pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah, like the sound is great. Like, what do you think about the music and the sound effects and stuff?
Yeah, the sound design is surprisingly very well. It's like a good level of futuristic but grounded, because they mentioned in loading tips like, oh yeah, we have high-tech stuff to stop balls from going in the background and stuff like that. But yeah, especially like all the audio cues and stuff. It's definitely really good.
I definitely agree. The music, I think it's pretty good. I don't know if it's better than the other games.
Yeah.
Like, I think Resort is just too
Mhm.
classic, but it's decent. It's not bad for sure.
Oh, yeah.
It captures the same spirit, I think.
Oh,
But
it
it's
is a
got
Wii
more
vibe,
of
yeah.
a. It's definitely got more of the kind of the more modern instrumentation that they use for like games like Mario Kart 8.
Mhm.
There's a lot of really cool like kind of the live performances and stuff, and it really does feel like it's captured that sort of
Yeah.
that modern vibe that they do. But
Mhm.
those melodies and everything, like it's just they capture that
Mhm.
that Wii vibe so well.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the way I describe it, it's like if the sports had a hotel version, because most of them are kind of like, give me hotel vibes. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I also like how they put it through this filter that makes it seem like it's on a speaker and it's not directly into your headphones. Like it's, playing
I
onto the sport.
What I think is great is that they have that, like when you're playing tennis, it's the speaker version, right?
Uh-huh.
And I think even actually a tourist tip mentions that. But then when you win a point and the replay kicks in, then it switches to like the
Yeah, the
HQ.
actual one, yeah.
I think the transition's like really cool. Every time that happens, it just feels satisfying.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as someone who's downloaded all of it for my videos, there's actually like you could overlay them and then cut them at any point and then just fade them in and out, and it's yeah, it's pretty
That's
cool.
how I really like dynamic music like that.
Oh yeah,
Like the Borderlands series does it. Dynamic
a few times.
dynamic music
Hmm.
like that, and Ring Fit does that in the credits.
Yeah.
If you play around with the ring, it changes from like a piano version to like a
I love
like a
those,
club
yeah.
version. And it's
Hmm.
just really cool like faders and stuff like that. It's yeah. So I'm really happy that they've brought that sort of really intuitive
Yeah,
sound
that's
design
cool.
into it. Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
guess
you actually just reminded me. In Chambara, there's actually like way more dynamic, because if you're close to the edge of the ring, the music gets more, I don't know, like beat heavy, like there's more drums, and the
Yeah.
closer you get in the middle, the less, more somber type tones and stuff like that.
the
Yeah.
only downside to that whole system is there's actually in the files there's no high quality versions of a lot of the songs. So like if
Mm.
you just wanted to listen
Oh,
to
really?
like the bowling offline theme, you're gonna have to listen to that like kind of
Hmm.
off in the distance speaker version,
Yeah.
which isn't that great.
It isn't the
That's a shame.
yeah, it isn't the high quality one run through a filter in the game. It's already on the file,
Exactly.
unfortunately.
Which
Yeah.
it is like a very non-issue considering it's not you're not supposed
Yeah.
to data mine the game, whatever. But
Yeah.
small little nitpick.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Going back to the Miis and Sportsmates, what did you guys think of the bots? I know there's, infamous bot lobbies and stuff like that.
Yeah. Actually, I guess this isn't entirely on the same subject, but the idea of playing your first online match against all bots, I actually thought that was really clever.
Yeah, I thought that
It's a
was cool
Same.
too.
it's a
Yeah.
good way
Great way of
to just tutorial kind of thing.
Hmm.
yeah.
Introducing.
Yeah, exactly. I've played a lot of bots because I had a lot of internet issues over the first 4 days. I was complaining about that a lot,
Mhm.
and it just turned out it was something to do with my service provider.
Mm.
Because when I went to a mate's house and played like 5 hours, it was just like, do you mind if I borrow your internet and do some tests? Like played like 5 hours of it. It was great. But yeah, so yeah, the bots are in like. It was quite interesting how it was almost like a progression system.
Hmm.
Because the first ones that you play, those tutorials, let's be real, they're really easy. It's like
Yeah.
playing the easy mode because offline as well, you've got normal, hard, and powerhouse.
Yes.
So once you've beaten a normal, I felt like the opponents got harder,
Mhm.
especially bowling. I was like, oh, 3 of these, like I knew it was a bot match, and I
Yeah.
was like, oh, 3 of these guys have just got strikes for the first 2. Okay, what's going on?
Yeah.
Interesting. And yeah, like they didn't give, like they kind of petered off at the end.
Mhm.
Couple of matches against them, like because I kept getting the bot matches at home, and yeah, then like the powerhouse ones came in, and I was like, oh,
This is
this is
solid.
actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting absolutely slapped at Chambara. Like I'm not good enough for this. And
Yeah.
but it was really good for practice personally. But like I don't know, I like how they give you bots if you can't find a match. Like it does help
Yeah.
with people who are struggling with matchmaking, like I was.
Mhm.
But yeah, like it was really interesting. The whole like there was a lot of stuff. I think it was Switch Force made a video about it, and
Mhm.
Nintendo Life did about like the idea that like you're not actually playing people online and that everyone is a bot. And I was
Yeah.
like, no.
Nah.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I've seen enough lag,
Yeah.
and I've seen enough people not react to know that that's not a bot.
Bots have some crazy names.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
Yeah.
I played a bit of offline too, just because I wanted to experience it as an
Mhm.
offline player. I thought that both normal and hard were pretty easy, but the powerhouse actually is a quite substantial
It's
jump
a
up.
good challenge, yeah.
I think in
yeah.
bowling, actually, people said in special lanes they can get a perfect game sometimes, which is
Mhm.
maybe a bit too good, but uh,
Wow.
I'm glad it's actually challenged. It's nice. I like that at least what they have is good, but I still would have way preferred an actual progression system like
Mhm.
every other Wii Sports game does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
There is so when playing with bots online, there seems to be two reasons to get like a bot lobby online, and that is your internet connection isn't that good, so it puts you in a game with bots, or you're high rank and they can't find anyone to put you in. And being like one of the first people to get A rank in volleyball, I got put with a lot of bots, and they're kind of hit or miss. And I feel like it's gotten better lately because it was the reason why it was a miss was because all the bots were just still rank E because like half the or more than half the player base was still rank E. But playing now, I think it's definitely improved. You have a lot more higher level bots in online matchmaking. And yeah, playing single player is definitely a lot funner or a lot more cleaner and smoother because there is no internet.
Well, yeah, true.
Yeah.
That's really interesting that the bots were rank E because of the majority of the player base.
Hmm.
You'd think that they would have bots at each level, at each
Yeah, you'd
rank.
think so, but I literally didn't see I didn't see, or to be honest, I didn't see anyone above rank C when I was playing. But yeah, I honestly think it's the bots were based off of the majority of the player base, and since everyone was E, then they had more E bots and stuff like that.
That's
I've
cool.
Yeah,
only
but
experienced when I was doing my Chambara grind. I guess no one was just high level. It took me, I think, after a minute, it'll place if you haven't found anyone. After a minute, it'll place you with a bot,
mhm,
and the bot was a lot easier than most of the opponents I was facing, so I'll take
yeah,
that. It was an easy win.
mhm,
But
There are a
it's
few
good
different
because
messages
mhm,
at the top. Like if you get I found that once I
oh
got
yeah,
because
yeah,
it's saying like finding players, and then
totally, yeah.
it's taking a little bit longer, and then there's one more as well. And when you
yeah,
get that one more, I found that's when I started getting the bots.
Yeah, exactly.
mhm,
Same with me.
yeah. What do you think of like just the overall bots design? Because I know a lot of people were kind of mad about him not being like the me counterparts. Like I believe Matt
Oh yeah.
is still just the generic boy character, which is
I
unfortunate.
I mean, I still would prefer the Wii Sports game with Miis
Mm,
as the main thing, but I'm not a sportsmate hater. It's fine. It does the job. It's
Yeah.
they reuse the Wii Sports names, which was interesting.
yeah.
They're all given like a random title, which is interesting.
Hmm.
Although it's only one title. That's a good way to spot bots. If
Yeah,
they have
it's
one
Yeah.
title,
and items that aren't in the rotation yet
true.
too. Hmm.
I think the reason they might have done that is Nintendo doesn't want to accidentally, because if they gave them two random titles, it could accidentally line up to be something kind of
Kind
maybe
of
not
fishy.
yeah
Yeah.
not yeah
Yeah.
ban of child anyone.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Well, um, I guess we could go on to updates. When do you think we're gonna get like 1.5 or version 2.0 or whatever? Not a patch, but like an actual update for the game.
So
So the first one the first update we're expecting is
Yeah,
going to
that we know
be it's going to be the soccer, right? So
Yeah,
summer.
soccer.
that was
something like
and they were saying, what's that, summer for the northern
Americans, yeah.
hemisphere? So, I would expect it within.
2 months.
I mean, look, yeah, a couple of months, like June or
Mhm.
July. I do wonder whether. Well, I mean, my personal prediction when we get our inevitable June Nintendo Direct,
Yeah.
I reckon we'll get the date for that. It could even be a shadow drop. That would
Yeah,
be
no,
nice.
I could see that happening totally.
I don't know what it's going to have apart from that update, though.
Mhm.
That's also a
It
good
would be
question,
nice to see honestly, it'd be nice to see them take some of the player feedback on and be like, right, cool, here's lobbying with friends or something like that.
Yeah.
That maybe if it's even if it's just those two things, or I don't know how. I've seen a list of the current confirmed item collections, so
Mhm.
potentially they could be updating, like putting the next load in as well.
The next
Yeah.
14, yeah.
That's what I was thinking, because in total there was 14 collections and we've already had 4. So that leaves 10 collections, which would mean the last collection comes out around July 22nd.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that would make sense. Yeah.
they could, like, I could see a direct in June or July, and they could do like
Replacement, yeah.
a shadow drop on July 22nd. Like, okay, we're adding soccer plus, another more items. I'm hoping that it isn't just soccer though, and I
Oh, it's the
know,
same, yeah.
yeah, I know that golf is scheduled for fall, which is quite a while away. But I'm hoping we'll get like another sport sometime in between then.
I mean, you'd hope, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
It
complete
would be.
speculation. But I want to predict that maybe they'll drop like another sub mode with the
Mm.
with the soccer thing, like
Yeah.
maybe 100 pin. I could see them doing that.
I could see him doing,
That'd be so good.
yeah, more offline content. Just be like during the direct to just be like, hey, we added 100 pin bowling or
We would not
Chambara
take that much
slice or something.
We
Yeah.
added stamps and achievements.
Oh, that'd be so. Oh,
That would be
quick,
so good.
yeah, quick mention. Nintendo totally scammed us with the achievements thing.
Mm.
Like they mentioned on the UK site, you can get achievements along the way. We still don't know what they meant technically, but I guess it's probably those like
I think it's,
multipliers.
yeah.
That's my theory.
That's such a oh
Yeah.
my god, Nintendo, really?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
The multiplier
Unless it's
is,
like they accidentally put it in and like they weren't meant to.
Mhm.
Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Say that.
they
They're
could
they're really
mean
not achievements.
the legend rank, but
Yeah,
that's
true.
that's about it. It's the only one achievement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's actually
But
one
no-
other I data mined. It's called the completest rank,
Hmm?
and I believe that's unlocking every single item. It's like if you complete all
Oh
28
yeah,
cards.
that makes
Oh,
sense.
cool.
Yeah.
That'll be tough. Do you? So
But
this
then
is. Go ahead.
sorry, does that imply that once we're done with the item collections that we know about, that we're kind of done with them?
Yeah. I was about to
Maybe.
say, what do you guys think?
Hmm.
This is like, oh,
Whenever
this.
whenever they give us that title, I assume that will be the end. But they could. That doesn't necessarily mean we'll get it at the end of this 28 collection
Mhm.
drop.
True.
Yeah. I mean, so this is going like 10 weeks ahead. What do you guys
True.
think is going to happen once we end all the cards, and if we don't get another drop?
So, okay, so we know there's gonna be 28 total, which is like 6.5 months.
Wait,
So
we
it's like
know there's going to be 28? I thought we
yeah,
only
yeah. So
confirmed 14.
okay, so there's 28 slots. I'm like almost certain there will be 28. Actually, no, we know there will be 28 because
Oh, I see.
yeah, the 14 you're talking about, those are the ones that are in the
In the
game right
game.
now.
Yeah.
Yes. Up to luxury, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So that's up until like about December, right? Yeah.
Hmm.
So I believe Nintendo has said that you actually can go back and earn like the simple collection if you missed it somehow. We don't know
Hmm.
entirely how that's going to work, but I
Yeah.
guess I'll just maybe loop through the ones they've already given us.
Probably.
So
Yeah.
if you've completed everything, then that might be the end of Switch Sports for you, unfortunately. Unless, we get the whole resort update with 70 new stamps and 70 new games and all that,
Yeah.
totally
All the
could.
cosmetics. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping we'll get more update. Like, I like this whole system where we aren't. We talked about this in the last kind of podcast episode, where it was how are they going to implement all these cosmetics, and we were thinking maybe they just update once a week. But I think this is fine where we get a lot of collections. I'm just kind of hoping we get some other updates. I'm honestly thinking they should add some balance changes to Chambara. Because
Which ones do you think are the best?
so the twin, I'm gonna have a video coming up on this. The twin sword is by far the best weapon because of its passive charge ability. When you
That's what I
block,
thought, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, it just
Honestly, I used the normal sword though. I thought the Chambara individual attacks were just way too weak for me.
mhm.
Because it's like I think one twin sword hit is worth like, or like I think it's like one normal sword is like worth 3 twin sword hits. It's really weak unless
Yeah.
you're using that special.
So for the
Yeah.
regular sword, it takes 3 hits to knock off. Charge sword is, I think it's around 3 hits as well, but the charge swing is a lot harder. And then the twin sword, I think it's around like 6. But all you got to do is stall, and it's probably the most
That's true.
boring tactic. But
Oh,
you
it's
get one
yeah.
win off, and you stall, and you get the charge. You get one lucky hit in, and you're just golden.
This might be a bit off topic, but something I thought was kind of interesting is I feel like there's kind of like hidden mechanics in each game.
Oh yeah,
Like, so in Chambar, I feel like a lot of people won't know this. It might mention it in the tutorial, I'm not sure. If you've blocked someone, or if you've like stunned someone, the best play to do is actually the lunge attack.
mm-hmm.
And I saw like no one doing it online, even in the higher ranks.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah,
also in volleyball, there's the quick spike, right?
The quick spike in volleyball. There's the quick set, or whatever you want to call it, in tennis. There's a lot of
The
like,
faster.
Yeah. Super
Yeah.
serve. Yeah.
there's a lot of like,
I guess, yeah, soccer, like, I mean, it's in the bottom right of the screen, but it doesn't really explain the pass mechanic all too much.
mhm.
No. There's a bit of a stamina mechanic in Badminton as well.
Yep.
Where your character will they will slow down. I've noticed like you can essentially like they
You
get
just time
tired,
them out, yeah.
and it messes up the range, like the range of time that you have to make a successful swing decreases.
Yeah.
So you've got to get your timing a lot better as you get faster and like because the speed increases of the rally as well.
Yeah.
It gets really tactical near the end. So yeah, but they don't explain that at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's a similar thing with tennis, actually. It has its own kind of stamina mechanic as well.
Stamina system, yeah. Oh, yeah, and that's what I liked about all the sports. Like everyone's like, "Oh, these sports are just direct ports, this and that," but
Oh,
there's
yeah.
a lot of
Not at all.
complexities. Yeah, and that's what I hated about the reviews in
Yeah.
before the game came out. Was they're just like, "Oh, this is kind of boring, this and that," but then you play the game, and you're like, "No, there's so much like in-depth stuff you could do." Yeah.
Yeah,
A lot
I
of
guess the
people wanted
reviewers
it to
just
be.
didn't.
Sorry.
Oh, no, you go ahead. It's fine.
No, you go ahead. It's gonna be. Yeah.
All right. I was just gonna say, I guess the reviewers mustn't have played each sport. And to be fair, they didn't have online for whatever reason. Even though
Yeah.
it's obviously an online oriented game, they didn't have
Mhm.
online. So I guess I can't blame them too much.
Yeah.
But a lot of reviewers, actually, pretty much everyone said volleyball was either bad or they just didn't really like it.
Yeah.
And I've seen the exact opposite reaction from the community.
Mm-hmm.
There are very few people I know that actually dislike volleyball.
Yeah, there's so much. I think volleyball. I don't know, just because it's my favorite sport. I feel like it has the most complexity compared to all of them. Because yeah, tennis, you're kind of just hit the ball, and if it's going in one direction, you hit it the other one, and so on and so forth. The same thing with kind of badminton and everything else.
I think, yeah, I think badminton may be a bit more strategical than tennis, just because you have the drop shot, the smash shot, the
Mhm.
normal one.
It's almost like it's almost like the weapon triangle in Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
Like a smash
Scissors.
beats like rock paper scissors is a much better way of putting it. But yeah, like drop shot beats smash beats normal, and normal beats drop shot or something like that. Like
Yeah.
it's a really weird, like
Yeah.
and like I think that the newer sports actually have a lot more nuance to them
Mm-hmm.
than the other than the 3 returning ones.
Yep.
I think
Makes sense,
they've put a lot of there's a lot more care than it looks like, and that wasn't really picked up on in any of the reviews that I read, or watched.
With bowling, I thought they were gonna have a little bit of randomization, but no, there's lineups and setups
Oh yeah.
to get perfect bowls. And as someone who hasn't climbed a rank yet on bowling, I feel like it's gonna be so difficult.
Luckily, with bowling, I thought I was never gonna get A rank. The way it works is, so you know how there's like 4 or 5 rounds, right?
Yeah.
As long as you make it past the first round, you gain points. So you don't have to
Oh,
win.
okay.
The issue is though, once you get to like B minus, whatever,
It goes up so slow.
to get past the first round, You have to get like a turkey. Like you have to get strikes every time. The
That's
people are way too good, especially the bots too. Because like I said, the bots in
Mhm.
bowling are cracked out of their minds.
Yeah, yeah, but I do feel like, especially with tennis feels like almost a direct port from the one from the Wii, and that is a good thing, but it's also, with all the added complexities to all the other sports, it kind of makes tennis feel like a Wii game.
I
Yeah.
think they added the whole smash mechanic. That's new to this game. Well,
Got
in
the,
club.
the shots. There's some inspiration taken from. Have you played Mario Tennis Aces, like the swing mode?
I have,
No,
yes.
I haven't.
Yeah, there's definitely some inspiration taken from that, where it's to do with like where like the overhand and underhand spins as you swing.
Definitely.
Yeah, so that has been kind of almost lifted from Mario Tennis Aces in a
I
way,
see,
which is
okay.
really cool. Like it's really intuitive, but they've also left a few bits out that made Mario Tennis
Tennis Ace is
Aces.
fun, yeah.
It's like I think the motion control tennis for Aces is better than the one
That's fair enough.
in Nintendo Switch Sports. Not that it's bad, as I said, but like, yeah, like there's some nuance and stuff that is in there, but like they could have done a little more to make it a little bit more magical.
Yeah.
Personally,
yeah.
I'm happy with tennis, but I'm kind of a
Yeah.
simp for it. It's my favorite. Whatever. I'm biased.
Yeah. I mean, I think I've said out of all of them, I think tennis is by far one of my least favorite. But
Wrong opinion. We should do like a tier list sometime. That'd be fun.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd
That'd be cool doing a tier list.
Yeah. That'd be up for them.
Yeah. So going back to updates, we already kind of talked about free roam. Do we think it's still here? Do we think it's not coming? The only issue I have, the only new information we have is from the credits, because I don't know if you've seen the credits. And my chat joked about this when I was playing, because I wasn't looking at the video. I was just trying to, play to get my highest score.
enough.
And I was asking my chat, what are they showing? And everyone just said, it's a free roam trailer. And when I look back at it, and I'm like, they have camera angles that aren't even shown in sports. They have like a free roam kind of cam.
What's the biggest thing for me is like the world of Switch Sports is huge, and they only play 6 sports. Like, have you seen the Chambara building? It's massive.
Oh yeah,
But then
yeah.
the only section that's used is like a tiny little circle. And then,
Mhm.
as you said, there's parts that aren't even shown in normal gameplay in the credits video.
Yep.
It's just maybe this is the only use of that they're ever gonna have, which that's pointless. But
Yeah,
it's a shame if that is true. Like that they're only going to use it for this. Like that is a shame because like it could just be like, hey, if you're watching the credits, here's some really cool scenes that we've played around with the free camera that we've got.
Yeah.
It's definitely possible, but it's a shame. I don't know about free roam. Like I want it so much.
I think
but I think, to be honest, I think I don't know whether they'll implement it as a free roam sort of thing, like an actual active free roam, or whether especially because there was that, I don't know whether we mentioned it or not, there was a thing by that Samus Hunter
Oh no, we haven't yet.
like who said about like running as a sport, which obviously I really want.
I think you predicted that,
and I
right,
think it's
Peter?
yeah, that I think it wasn't so much a prediction as just what I really want, because
That's
I
fair
want to
enough,
see
yeah,
them use the leg strap
The leg
properly.
strap, yeah.
And like, if you've sold me this peripheral and I use it for like running feels like the kind of ultimate thing that they could do with that, especially considering the technology already exists from Ring Fit.
Yeah.
And then there was, there's the rumor from old mate saying that they, like they're talking about putting running in the game, and like I don't know where, like I don't find them to be particularly reputable as a leaker. So, but also part of me is like, I want this.
For those who don't know, Samus
Hunter's
Hunter's like Nintendo leak person who, I mean, obviously anything should be taken with a grain of salt, but I think of all the Nintendo leakers, I guess they're more on the reputable end. However, they're, as Peter said, still not super reputable.
What did they get?
They get more right.
I confused them with Zippo.
They have a whole compilation of like, oh, I did 1,000 different things I predicted. But also, I think their whole style is make a vague prediction. So even
and
if
then claim it as your own.
So yeah, even if it's wrong, you kind of say, well, I was right about this part, and this part they just didn't end up doing or whatever.
So what was the exact post? Because I honestly knew nothing about this.
Okay, so Switch Sports is near its release. At launch, it's not much content, but Nintendo has strong plans for a year of support. That kind of lines up with the whole costume thing.
Yeah.
The game at launch will focus more on the sports, but they're going to expand it with more online events and also some solo experiences.
Uh,
Then they
yeah.
said the last thing they said was they're going to look to support the leg strap more with the running motion like in Wii Fit.
hmm yeah, it all kind of just seems like very easy, predictable stuff. I mean, I kind of even said Switch or Sports Fests could be a
Yeah,
thing.
that's fine. I mean, I'm joking, but it's almost like they listened to our video and
Yeah,
just
and then they just took whatever the
took what
better.
Peter said, took what you said, put it in a tweet.
Yeah, I
Maybe.
I definitely think running. I feel like the only thing free roam or the only solid evidence besides what we found in the data mine, because we figured out because we've seen models and stuff for different areas previously, and now it's found out the models that we have for some of the stuff is just literally the setting screen panorama and
Mm.
other stuff of the sorts. But the other thing that I feel like is the most solid piece of evidence is just the leg strap itself and the what it's been used for in the past,
Yeah.
with Ring Fit and running.
I'm actually curious, when you guys mention free roam, what is it that you picture of free roam? Because like some people have said, oh, there's gonna be a whole world where you can work at the cafe and make money, and that's how you buy Yeah, no.
I
But
picture so
yeah,
sorry,
what do you
go,
imagine?
go. Sonic Adventure Hub Worlds. So
I'm picturing a hub world. Yeah.
Like Splatoon?
yeah,
Yeah, like similar to Splatoon.
That's what I think of personally.
Splatoon is like, yeah, it's kind of free roam if you want to call it that. It's free. It's like a free roam just in a tiny little location. And I'm hoping with Splatoon 3 is going to be like the hub world is going to be 10 times bigger because we've seen it in the trailer, whatever. The main hub area is a lot bigger. And I think they could do that with Switch Sports because there is an art gallery already shown. There's a cafe. There's an ice cream stand. There's like little franchise of cafe buttons on every single sport.
yeah.
I personally saw free roam as a way to avoid the normal just click the online button, click the sport. Like I saw it as, oh, you walk around, you take the bus to whatever sport you want to go to.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to spectate instead of going to the sport itself, you go off to the stands or whatever. Like just kind of a cute way to be a game selection screen, but
Yeah.
we literally just got press online, press tennis, load
Mm-hmm.
in.
The more I think about it, the more I'm like, what would they do free? Why include
Exactly.
free roam? And the only thing I see it with is literally just sports selection, but in person, if that makes sense.
I think the more realistic quote unquote free roam is something like running, cycling.
Mm-hmm.
What was the one? Paragliding.
Yeah, that was another thing. Like maybe paragliding would be the free roam because so in that little snippet, the paragliding clip was actually right in front of the Chambara area. So
Okay.
maybe there's like a docking where get gushed up by like a gush of wind because this is so techie.
Links, kind of almost like.
Yeah, and then you could just fly around this massive sport area.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's what Pilot
Yeah,
Wings Resort did. If you know about that, it's a 3DS game.
Yeah, Pilot
You could
Wings.
Yeah,
travel down
yeah.
Woohoo Island with a jetpack.
Oh yeah, that's what basically what was it called? This the flyover game was in Wii Sports Resort.
They had that, and then that I don't know. Resort
Mhm.
just handled making the island like an actual place really well. So
Yeah.
you had cycling, you had uh, island flyover, and like all the sports you could like actually see the rest of the environment in.
hmm
In Switch Sports, you're inside of a building, so you can't really
Mm.
see too much else. But
I could see like so each sport would they have to have an online aspect. I feel like just so the online portion is still thriving. So I can see
Yeah.
paragliding being like paragliding racing where you have to race through rings around the area.
Oh, like Spyro.
Yeah, like Spyro. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in the single player, you could choose racing or free roam flyover or something of the sorts.
yeah.
But I would still love to see just walking because I think someone said the code for the soccer is almost a direct rip from from the running in Wii Sports Resort.
Oh, maybe.
Something of the sort.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not like I don't know everything about the game. Obviously, someone else could have found something I didn't. I don't think I can say I found something like that, but wouldn't surprise me. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, overall thoughts on free roam. I'm still skeptic, but I would like. I don't know. We have no real proof anymore. All the stuff we've data mined has been used, except the running icon that still has
so
yet to be found.
I was kind of like watching from the stands at that point because I was the one that like posted. I was like, oh, that's just some soccer thing. People are
Mhm.
getting all upset.
Mm.
If someone's found it, tell me. I literally have not seen it anywhere. I'm confused. I
I
need to know what
was.
that's about.
I think I spent like 20 minutes actively searching it on stream, and then everyone in chat was like, "Oh, it's in the soccer." So I go in single player, I go in
Yeah, I
soccer.
thought that
It's not
might
there.
have been me who said that because I was convinced it was there. But
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
I
now,
should probably go check if it's even still there.
because
I could probably do that right now.
yeah, that's also the one thing I feel like the leg strap and then the running icon. Yeah,
At this point, have we kind of accepted that free roam is dead, but like running?
but
I don't know,
running.
maybe.
Everyone can come in some other shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
It
All
just
right.
runs slow.
Slow running.
So while you pull that up, or see if you can find it in the
Yeah, I'll try to
files,
find it.
we could go on to our last topic, the future of Switch Sports. We talked about this originally last episode, but sales are doing pretty well. So we actually just got breaking news. We got this today. With Furukawa did like an early data thing saying the game has sold over 19,000 copies or 1900,000. 190,000. There we go.
He said it was doing well.
Yeah. In Japan in the first week, which is pretty crazy.
Yep.
And then we just got that Nintendo Switch Sports had 3 million globally as of May 12th. Which
Oh, is that actually like a? I thought that was a prediction. Like, oh, it will definitely get 3 million. Is that like? Is he saying?
No. This was This is a Sorry. So I pulled this tweet up. It's it's like a sales analyst.
Yeah.
And
So
like a
Furukawa
sales
actually
analyst.
posts the sales in Friday, which is when we're recording this. It's just when I was making the outline, we didn't have it at the moment.
Saw a headline from him saying like Switch Sports is off to an exceptional start or something like that.
Mhm.
Which I maybe I'm speaking like solely here, but I'm kind of surprised it's doing so well. Just I feel like people were like controversial about it throughout its release. But maybe that's just a vocal minority, Twitter being Twitter kind of thing, right?
I think
Mhm.
that's it. I think the thing is like, and there was I was trying to find, like just a little earlier, I was trying to find some stuff because I read some bits from the investor QA
Yeah.
that came up,
Yeah,
and then
yes.
I'm 90% sure they mentioned it in there, but it was Nintendo Switch Sports basically is hitting their target audience, which is
20-year-old or something, right?
Mhm.
20-year-olds who played Wii Sports before.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what they like, from a
people
kind
have
of
been
like a
saying.
marketing and business point of view. Like, yeah, there's been a lot of kind of furor about it online with the sports mates and stuff, and not, people not thinking it's got enough content, blah blah blah. Which, our thoughts aside,
Yeah.
the target market is probably not specifically us. They'd want to recapture that. They
Yeah.
want to recapture that global, that global market that they had
Mhm.
for
It's really a game for everyone.
Wii Sports. And exactly, yeah, it's a casual
there's, like,
gaming experience.
There's no one that doesn't, because even non-sports fans, they still like Switch Sports because it's
Yeah.
a video game where you can collect
Mhm.
items and stuff.
I
It's
think
just
it's yeah.
yeah,
I'm happy with the numbers. I was waiting for the exact numbers, but from what
more
I've
than half, yeah.
researched, it was top of the UK charts in April, which
I think
was
it was
like
like the Amazon bestseller at the time
yeah,
too.
and it's crazy. I think 3 million was in my target range. It's so like 2 to 3 million.
So
Um,
that guy is saying 3 million sales right now, right?
yeah, as of
That,
right now,
that's right.
yeah.
That shocks. That's really good in my opinion.
And you got to think about it.
Around
Like this game is marketed toward elderly as well, because in the Japanese trailers, there's like they market
volleyball grandma.
each sport, volleyball grandma, bowling grandpa, and then everything else is
For-
kind of the younger generation. But yeah, I think this is a good sign for Switch Sports.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Mhm.
think. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I wonder, do they plan? Do they think people are like? I'm I'm trying to think like what marketing would they do to like what would make the most sense marketing wise to for releasing future sports like free DLC, paid DLC? Because the free DLC route is they're saying okay, people don't have the game because they think it doesn't have enough content. Let's
Mhm.
release more free DLC so they'll buy it. Paid DLC is enough people have the game. Let's make more money by releasing paid DLC.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think the golf is supposed to get more people. Like
That's true. Golf's free. We already know that.
yeah, golf is free, so they're gonna get more people on that, and then they're gonna release paid DLC. Because with my prediction of 6 sports, one being golf, the other 5 being rafting, paragliding, dodgeball, basketball, and baseball, that could be sold like as an easy sports pass. And then as Peter said with the expansion, it could be a super easy bundle with the expansion as well.
They're never exclusive to the expansion though, right?
Oh yeah, they're never.
Like,
You
okay.
could always buy them separately.
Do
But
either of you guys have the expansion?
I don't.
I've got it because for me, sorry, my stomach crumbled there. For me, the I got my mate had a family
plan.
membership,
Yeah, that
and he
makes
was just
sense.
like, oh yeah, do you want to be part
like-
of my family? I'm like, yeah, all right, cool.
Yeah,
That's like an
Okay.
investment though.
that is definitely the
exactly.
way to go.
Oh,
As
yeah,
an
definitely.
individual who's paying for it, do you know the number? Like, how much is it? Do you know, Crafty, in America?
I believe it's $80, 70,
Is it
60.
80? Oh my
I think
god.
it's 80. Yeah,
Let
'cause
me check.
It's 60 Australian here.
Okay, that
it,
So-
it might have been 60. It could be 20. I know it's 20 for the year of base online.
Yeah, the base is 20, which is what I have right
There's something Australia relevant I wanted to add about the sales as well that I noticed in my local game shop, which I think I don't know about anywhere else in the world, but I know they're doing it in Australia. You know the whole thing with like the Wii, like Wii Sports was a packing game with the
Yeah.
Wii console.
Mhm.
They've been selling Nintendo Switches with like not the OLEDs, but the normal Nintendo
the normal
Switches with Switch Sports as a bundle pack for the price of a normal console. So it's essentially a packing game, right?
You know that's.
I don't know whether it's like it's probably going to be a limited time, but that I'd imagine that's contributed towards it. You know, like
Is it a box pack-in game, or is it like buy the
I think so.
Switch and we'll get it on the side?
It's a thing the store is doing, not like an actual.
Yeah.
Nintendo
Okay.
thing, right? Yeah.
no, but generally those stores like they only do it if Nintendo Nintendo will tell them, hey, this is the deal that we approve. Go. So yeah, like it's an interesting way of upping the sales, not artificially as such, but like it's a I think they want to recapture that casual audience, and they're going that route as well. So
a good point. I remember Nintendo, they have like a Fortnite Switch bundle, like a New Horizons Switch bundle. Considering Wii Sports was a pack-in, and this would be I think it would be a good pack-in. We don't know of any Switch Sports Switch bundle, do we?
No,
Not
I
seeing
don't think so.
anything.
That kind of surprises me personally.
I honestly think we're gonna see a Black Friday bundle because we normally always get a Mario Kart 8 Black Friday bundle, and then we're probably gonna see a Switch Sports one. I wouldn't be surprised if they do not a redesigned, but like the OLED Joy-Cons with the base model Switch with Switch Sports, because it's more of like a white themed game.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
But you brought up an interesting point with the bundles. I honestly think Nintendo's trying to get rid of all of their base model Switches. Because
I guess that's true.
We've also brought up the investors meeting, and they said they're getting ready for the jump to next gen next year. So we're probably gonna get a new Switch next year. They're just trying to, get rid of all the older Switches.
It's really interesting. The thing there was the whole kind of like this isn't specific to Switch Sports, by the way, but like remember there was the thing that like they were worried about next gen.
Oh yeah.
They were worried about next gen. Do you see that? That was a mistranslation.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're looking forward to the challenge
Yeah.
of it. Like not that they are concerned, not that they are finding it difficult, but it's that it will, they are basically, it was like one word was mistranslated.
Yep.
And it could have been either way. They
And
chose that one. It sounded like it was like they were panicking, but it's not. It's that they are ready for it. Essentially.
They are ready for it. Yeah.
And it's just like, like it's like, oh, Nintendo doomed.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's good that they're looking to next gen, and I can see them doing another model of Switch. I reckon it will be a Switch OLED Lite, personally.
OLED Lite. Ooh. That's interesting.
Like built in, like the larger screen, but with the Joy-Cons attached, like because it's basically the best use of the OLED, isn't it? Is for the handhelds. So.
Yes, true.
Yeah. This is kind of like off topic entirely. Like we're just talking about the future of Switch. But what's interesting is a lot of Nintendo's games now have this new system where they I forget what it's called. It's basically the graphics are made in super low res, and then when it gets in, like when the game runs, it up-reses it internally. And the same thing is made with Switch Sports. Switch Sports is actually internally 480, and it gets up-res to 1080.
No way.
It uses the same features
That's
as
the NVIDIA thing, right? Or
yeah, they actually NVIDIA are designing a new chip or new system to do that. So it's interesting. They're clearly prepping for a newer console because all the games are now using this system where it recognizes the device's limitations and then up-reses to whatever limitation maximum it can.
That's cool. I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
You can kind of notice it with some of the textures, but yeah, it does a pretty good job at doing it.
Is that why you get those things in the backgrounds of games where there's like because there's the
they like
you know when
shutter,
you see like it was really obvious in Pokemon Legends Arceus, but like you can see it in the background of Switch Sports as well. You've got old mate doing like 2 frames per second. Like
I think it first started with Age of Calamity, and then they just used the same system for all the other games previous. Yeah.
It'll be for Scarlet and Violet as well, because we've seen the
we've seen the
if you look in the trailer, you see the 2 frame per second windmill.
Yeah,
cool. That's awesome. I didn't know that was behind that. That's wicked.
Yeah, but the investor meeting was fairly interesting. Yeah, so they also said the Switch sales was down by 39%, but it did not affect the sales of Switch Sports. And I was going to bring this up, but now we know it's 3 million copies, so clearly didn't affect any sales. Yeah.
I was on a.
I was just saying it's unfortunate that Switch Sports released like at the time it did, because it was, I think, wasn't it an investor meeting for April or like?
I think it was.
Yeah, it ended at April.
It's the first quarter of the first
true.
physical. Yeah.
So Switch Sports have been out for a day, so we don't really get all the numbers that we could have gotten otherwise. But
yep.
Still seems to be doing well, so
that's good. That's good.
Do you predict within a year, Switch Sports will sell?
In a year? Okay, so I'm basing this off of my knowledge with Splatoon 3. Splatoon 2 sold 12 million, and it's effectively at the end of its life with Splatoon 3 coming out. I would say it could almost double to 6 million by the time Black Friday comes out.
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah, I reckon within the first year. Sorry, Jack. Go.
Oh no! Go ahead.
I basically like knowing the audience, knowing who they're trying to go for, and the fact that the marketing is not too bad.
It's not bad at all.
It's going for the right audience that they want, and clearly it's successful. I think I may be over predicting slightly, but like I don't see why within the first full year of release that it couldn't do 10.
Oh,
10 million.
Yeah, I could.
I don't see why not.
Yeah, it is Switch Sports, so I think we haven't seen a game like this. I don't think at all, because it's kind of banking on a big nostalgia. So I mean, the power of nostalgia is crazy.
To me, that's the difference between. Because I've been wondering. I've been kind of basic. I was like, okay, so Clubhouse games. It's a casual game. It kind of takes me back to that Wii series age. But that's only sold 3 million in
its
2
lifetime.
years. Yeah. I guess the difference is this is Wii Sports and everyone loves it. I didn't think nostalgia would carry it that hard, but it really seems like that's the case.
I mean, didn't Wii
There's a
Sports?
question in the.
Oh,
sorry.
Didn't Wii Sports sell like 100 million? I can't really remember the total.
It's kind of
sales.
cheating because Wii Sports was packed in, you know.
Yeah. Oh, Wii Sports Resort sold 22 million.
I think it's more than it's like Nintendo's 5th best-selling game or something. Like it's considering it wasn't a pack-in. It really proves that. Yeah.
That Wii Sports can sell.
Exactly. And this is doing it too.
33.14 million.
Yeah.
Jeez, yeah, and that's without it being a combined. It did have the Wii Motion Plus, but still.
Yeah, but that's like you're not really gonna buy a Wii Motion Plus and say, oh well, Resort's $5 more, and we get that.
Yeah. No, you're buying Wii Sports for Wii Sports. I feel like, yeah.
Yeah. What else did the Motion Plus even use, if anything?
I think. Well, they use it as
Skyward Sword.
Skyward Sword. Yeah,
Oh, really? Did you actually have to have a Motion Plus to play Skyward
I
Sword?
believe you had to. Yes.
I did not know that. That's interesting.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Peter? Something about a question. I don't know.
I'm gonna mind like a goldfish. So oh no, yeah. So there was a question in the survey about whether you knew that Nintendo Switch Sports was a successor to Wii Sports or
true.
not.
Oh.
So they were targeting about their marketing, like asking if they were marketing it properly. So that was definitely like it's definitely the audience they were going for is those people who played it as a kid and are now adults and maybe have their own families who like it's a weird sort of situation, isn't it? Like we're nostalgic about Wii Sports. Eventually there are going to be kids who are going to be like, Nintendo Switch Sports, it was amazing.
Yeah.
So,
in that same question, I think I was surprised to see Nintendo actually mentioned Wii Sports Club, which I don't think they've done since the
Yeah, I
launch of
saw
the
your
game.
tweet on that.
They kind of they didn't include it later. Like it showed up once and that was it. But the fact that they mentioned it at all was kind of crazy to me.
Yeah. But yeah, anything else you want to add before we close out? Overall thoughts? If you were to give Switch Sports a rating, what would it be?
That's a good question. Out of 10, as someone who enjoys online, enjoys the rank like grind, probably like personally an 8.
An 8.
But for the average consumer, 6. It's I don't know.
Yeah, I'd give it a 7 if I wasn't a content creator. If I was, I mean, now that I am, I don't say 8.5.
It's really fun. If you're invested in the online, yeah, I'd give it an 8. If you are going in as a cat, I think it really depends. I would say 6.5, 7, because if you're playing with friends, it's going to be a heap of fun. So the kind of the lack of offline content isn't really going to be that noticeable to you if you're playing with your mates. But if you're taking it as a solo experience, yeah, it's not going to be as much. So yeah, like personally, I'm loving it. Loving it. But like there are clear limitations and clear things that it's missing, which I really hope are rectified within this year of content.
It is. We've already mentioned this. I think this whole episode kind of solidifies it. This is definitely a really good foundation. It's a good base. Yeah, I think
that's what I've heard from everyone.
If they have a 2.0 update or something, that I definitely see free roaming or some sort of like roaming mode being added in the 2.0 version or whatever. Anything they add in that could potentially make this game almost a 9 or a 10 for either single player and multiplayer experiences.
What is the ideal number? Like, what would it take to get your number up to a 9 or 10? How many sports would they have to add? 3 more, 4 more? Get the number like 10 or 12?
It depends what kind of sports. Because dodgeball, I feel like could do this. I can see 8, but with my prediction of there being 12, I think 12 could honestly bump it up to a 9, 10.
For me, 10 good sports, but not just those sports. Like it needs the extra content to back it up offline. Yeah, it needs the sub modes. But I think I think that for me would be the number and the combo that would really bump this up. Yeah,
I think 10 is the magic number for me too. It'd still be less than Resort, but it would be at least decent. In my opinion.
You got the online modes and stuff with that.
True.
Yeah, and now that Nintendo's getting into their full swing out of COVID, they definitely should be able to pump out more content. And
I look forward to golf. I really hope that Nintendo adds more sports, of course, like everyone's saying.
My fingers are crossed for dodgeball. I'm honestly hope for dodgeball more than free roam.
Yeah, dodgeball would be fantastic. Yeah.
All right. But if you guys want to go ahead and shout out your socials, Wipeout Jack, where can they find you?
I'm on Twitter. I'm on YouTube. I'll be posting probably some more data mining, modding stuff at some point. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs on YouTube. That'd be cool. But if you don't like me, whatever. You can leave hate comments. I don't care.
All right. And Master Trainer Peter?
You can find me on YouTube mainly. I'm also on Twitter and Instagram. And yeah, if you like just a lot of different motion control ones or like the exercise games, come find me over on YouTube. I've got plenty of guides and information for you.
And all their links will be in the description below. So if you want to check them out, go ahead and check right down there. And also, if you like this content and you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and comment down below what you want to see next, and maybe you could do like a 2-month or 3-month
Golf, maybe the golf drop,
oh,
or
yeah,
this,
golf.
the summer update if it adds anything substantial. If not, whatever.
Oh,
yeah, post discussion, something of the sorts.
Oh.
I just want to do a direct when we find out when the direct is. If you
Oh,
want to
that
do a
would be
predictions,
awesome. Yeah,
I'll be in for that. Yeah, yeah.
of course.
I'm down for
Sounds good.
anything. I love talking about Switch sports. Probably a bit too much, but
Yeah. Okay. Well, all right. I'm Crafty Type 1. This is Wipeout Jack and Master Trainer Peter. We'll see you guys next time. Adios.